Yes, I can. Good luck. You sound amazing. Bye.
Okay, hello everyone. I am Sarah Murphy, your Herndon Elementary PTA president, and I am here to welcome you to our third general membership meeting. We're delighted tonight to have our admin team, our interim principal, Marty Jo Jackson, and our assistant principals, Elizabeth Baxter and Stephanie Almquist. And then we have several of our coaching staff and our AART here to tell us more about what all those things mean. So we're really glad that you're here to join us. If you could please sign into the chat on YouTube so that we have a record of who's here, that would be really great. Okay, so it's 7:01. I'm gonna call it to order and we'll just jump right in. So Miss Almquist, I think you're up first.
Hello, welcome everyone. For those of you who don't know me, I am one of the assistant principals, Stephanie Almquist. Tonight we have a lot of information to share with you about being a Title I school and what it looks like to be at Herndon Elementary School as a Title I school. So Title I is a grant that is federally funded. It's a federally funded program, and the purpose of the grant is, as you can see in the slide, I've got two slideshows going at once, so bear with me. To provide all children significant opportunities to receive a fair, equitable, and high-quality education, and to close the educational achievement gap. Each year, we're required to share a little bit about what Title I means, and to let you know that we receive funds that are used for staff and resources.
Okay, Stephanie, I'm sorry. I'm going to pop in here a second.
Sure.
We're having trouble with figuring out the recording, and we want to make sure that we have this available for families who couldn't be here tonight. So I'm going to ask you guys to pause just 1 second, and so I can see if I can figure that out.
Okay.
Right. Thanks. I'll come right back.
Hi, everyone. While we're waiting very patiently, I'm just going to do a quick introduction of some of the board members. We're having a few technical difficulties. Do you want to go on, Sarah? Are we ready?
Yeah, I am not seeing the option to record or to give Carla permission to record. So I think we just need to proceed and just have Carla interpret on the English channel and we'll record, and that will just be recorded on YouTube like we have. So maybe
Okay,
next time.
Sounds good.
Okay, so Carla, we're gonna need you to come back over to English. Can I hear it? Want to do a quick test? I can hear you. Okay, so Stephanie, why don't you come back on and we will, you'll just have to give Carla some pauses.
Okay, I know I do talk fast, so I'll try and slow down a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, are we ready to go?
Stephanie, are you on English?
Yes, can you hear me?
Okay, can you hear Carla?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you. Yes, so Stephanie, you're gonna go a little bit and then Carla will interpret on this channel. So we're just gonna have the Spanish at the same time
Okay,
all together. Okay,
I'll
all right,
slow
thanks,
down.
ladies.
I'll slow down, but I can't hear her when she's finished. So if you could give me a thumbs up, I'll know she's finished.
Yeah, everybody else can hear. I don't know what's going on.
Okay.
All right, so Carla, just give her a thumbs up when you're.
Actually, I can't even see her. Okay, I can see you, Carla. Great. Okay. So what I was saying is we are a Title I school. It's a federally funded program. And so we have to talk a little bit each year about what that means. Okay. So the school system determines who qualifies for being a Title I school, and it's based off the number of students that receive free and reduced lunch. So we're one of 42 schools that receive Title I funding. Okay. So the objective of being a Title I school, and if we could go to the next slide, to improve student literacy skills and communication, develop students' mathematical skills and problem solving, promote critical and creative thinking, foster resiliency and goal setting, and encourage collaboration and family engagement. As part of that, we develop a school-wide plan, address community and unique needs of the schools. Those plans can be found on our Herndon Elementary School website. Could you go back a slide? Oh, thank you, learning experience, perfect. So here are some of the unique things that happen in Title I schools and specifically here at Herndon. We provide learning experiences, so we use the Title I grant funds to provide high quality instruction and engaging learning experiences in math and literacy. We get materials and technology. It allows us to purchase high quality instructional materials to enhance math and literacy, as well as foster college career readiness skills. You may have seen that when we were able to give every student in our school free materials at the beginning of the year. And actually, as we pivot back to school, all students will receive another round of free supplies. Not only are we able to buy materials, we're able to buy human resources as well. So we have Title I resource teachers that support students in both enrichment activities as well as intervention. And we'll talk a little bit more about our Title I resource teachers in a little bit. We provide a lot of professional learning opportunities for our teachers, such as kindergartners learning about print, literacy collaborative, and advanced math resource. And I know I'm saying that wrong, and Jamie will correct me a little bit later. But the purpose of this is to build capacity in all of our teachers, and the Title I funds help us to do that. Also, a goal of Title I schools and at our school as well is to engage families for student success. So welcoming all families, trying to have as effective communication. And I know that's a growth area of our school that we've been working on. Decision-making and advocacy support for academic success. And we also are part of the Title I Parent Advisory Committee, where we have 2 of our board members that work with all parents, with all schools, Title I schools in the county, and learn from each other. If you want to know more information about Title I, here are some resources for you. As well, as I mentioned earlier, on the Herndon Elementary page, there is a piece about our Title I, being a Title I, and some of the programs and plans that we have in place. Earlier, I'll stop there and let Carla translate. Earlier, I mentioned Title I resource teachers and being able to afford additional human resources as a Title I school. You may have noticed additional teachers in your child's classrooms now that we are in your homes each day. And I've had some questions about who are these people? Why are they in the classroom, and what are their roles? I'm going to turn over the microphone to our instructional coach, Robin Tremaine, and she can share a little bit more about who these people are.
Good evening, everyone. As Ms. Almquist said, my name is Robin Tremaine, and I'm the instructional coach at Herndon. It is one of the great benefits of being a Title I school to have additional resource teachers and coaches in the building. And so we wanted to briefly introduce ourselves and share a little bit about our roles so that you understand who these people might be in your child's classroom. Our teachers work in teams, and they have two CLTs, collaborative learning team meetings a week, one for literacy and one for math. And so our coaching team supports those CLTs through planning and facilitation, and we also deliver professional development during those times. The other thing that you might see with the resource teachers and with their coaches is working in classrooms with your student's teacher. This might look like modeling a lesson, it might look like pulling a small group of students, and it might look like co-teaching with another teacher. We coach teams of teachers, and so there's a literacy and a math coach assigned to each grade level. And we also work with individual teachers in coaching cycles where they identify some learning that they might want to do. And finally, one of the big areas that we focus on is our school data in support of our school innovation and improvement plan, which we will talk about in a little bit. The other thing that I just wanted to briefly mention is that at Herndon Elementary, we are a community of learners. Coaching is open to everyone in the building. Teachers often will request coaching. Admin might request it if there's a teacher new to Herndon or new to a grade level to provide additional support. Our teachers are also involved in a book club this year. We're reading School Talk, which has a focus on equity. And it's really about the way that we talk about students and how we talk to students with that equity lens. And finally, I just wanted to also add in that our teachers participate in math and literacy professional development outside of the school building as well, and we collaborate with our county curriculum specialists. All right, I'm going to turn it over to Jamie Graham, who is going to talk more specifically about the math team.
Thanks. Thank you. So you see on your screen right now, we have 4 members of our math team. I am Jamie Graham. I'm a Title I math resource teacher. We have Emily Keffer as a math resource teacher. Joanna Patterson and Mona Samaha are interventionists in our math team. And Mrs. Samaha also teaches our 6th grade advanced math. The role of interventionists and math resource teachers is a little bit different. As interventionists, our teachers, Mrs. Samaha and Mrs. Patterson, work with small groups of students identified by teachers or our committee at school that talks about students who might be struggling a little bit. And they communicate with the classroom teacher on regular basis so that the classroom teacher and the interventionists are working towards similar goals for the students in math. Well, Ms. Keffer and I also do some intervention with students. We are also focused on those collaborative learning teams that Mrs. Tremaine talked about earlier. And during, like Mrs. Tremaine was talking about, during those CLTs, we provide professional development to our grade level teams. We help with planning lessons. We also help with ways to analyze data and to use that data to make changes in our instructional practices. So you might see Ms. Keffer or I in a classroom working with students or working with teachers, while Mrs. Patterson and Mrs. Samaha are not typically in the classroom. They're pulling groups off into breakout rooms. The other thing I wanted to talk to you about as a math team is that much of our instruction that we are doing and also informing teachers about, especially in our primary grades, is what you might have heard of math recovery or AVMR. And what this is professional development that we offer to our teachers so that they can better understand where students are in their understanding of numbers and math. And then we use that data to help inform what we're teaching in the class or in small groups. And we in Fairfax County, Herndon Elementary is part of a program as a model school for AVMR. And what that means is that We have about 20 teachers in our school who are trained to use AVMR assessments and instructional practices. And one of the benefits of being a Title I school is that the Title I office has given us funding to get many of our teachers trained in that professional development. So as a math team, we can continue to coach other grade level teachers in AVMR, and hopefully we were going to see some long-term improvement in our mathematics at Herndon. And that's all I have. Thanks, Carla.
Hi, everyone. I'm Shay Hopkins. I'm the reading specialist here at Herndon, and I want to take a little bit of time to talk about how being a Title I school positively impacts our literacy team. So if you notice, we have 6 people on our reading team, 7 if you count Robin because she flips between, and 4 of those positions are funded by Title I, which is really amazing. So we have, aside from myself, Christy Hardigan, who is our literacy collaborative coach for upper grades. We have Ashley Tingler, who's our literacy collaborative coach for primary. We have Amy Ferrara, who's one of our interventionists through Title I. We have Carrie Cantania, who's one of our interventionists in Title I as well. And then we have Karen Cathy, who's one of our part-time interventionists. So between myself, Christy, and Ashley as literacy coaches, a couple of the things we do, as mentioned by Robin, and similar to Jamie's teams in math, are supporting teachers with planning, supporting teachers to plan CLTs, providing professional development for teams, and working with small groups to provide intervention or to collect data to help support them with further instruction. Supporting teachers with data collection to help students move forward with their progress. So for our interventionists, Amy, Karen, and Carrie, I work with them closely with classroom teachers to help identify students that might need extra support and help move them through the MTSS process and create schedules and groups so that we can have students, as many students as possible, have their needs met in small group instruction. And something special about being Title I and having those funds, we have Christy and Ashley, who are our literacy collaborative coaches, and they receive a lot of PD through this model, and then they turn it around and create these classes that teachers can take and take on that PD. And they also co-teach with different classes each year. PD is professional development. Sorry, sometimes we use that. Thanks, everyone. And the nice thing about our literacy team is all of us meet with students, like Jamie was saying, in math. No matter if you're an interventionist or a coach, you're going to be seeing the students in some way. So you'll probably see all of us pop into your classes, either to pull a small group or to help co-teach with the teacher or to support in different ways. And the last thing I wanted to mention regarding our Title I funds is we put on literacy nights and partners in print nights throughout the year. Normally when there's not COVID, but you might have come to some of them where we have activities for the kids surrounding literacy, and usually we have take-home books and materials for them so they can continue their literacy learning at home and foster what we do in school at home. And the last thing I want to say is, just like in math, our teachers are always learning and trying to take on more knowledge and literacy as well. And most of our teachers are either in year 1 or have completed year 2 of their literacy collaborative training. And we're really proud of that we can continue to foster growth among teachers as well as students. With that, I'm going to send it over to Jackie Kwan, who's going to talk about AART.
Jackie, you're still muted.
Thank you. I turned on my video, but I forgot to turn on my mic. But I wanted to say hello to everyone, and it's wonderful to see all of your names in the participants column. My name is Jackie Kwan, and I am the Advanced Academics Resource Teacher here at Herndon. So one of the things that I wanted to talk about was one of the big initiatives of the Advanced Academics Department in Fairfax County. So the Advanced Academic Department really wants to move away from this notion of being quote unquote gifted to a more kind of growth-minded orientation of developing each child's strength. So my job as an ART is to try and bring rigorous learning opportunities into the school and to identify and nurture the domain strengths of all students. So if you look over at this picture, you will see these bolded words that say talent development. And we really consider ourselves, when we look around and see the role of the ART, we really feel like we're kind of in the business of talent development. So there are many ways that we try to do this as AARTs. I do this first by coaching teams and making sure that we are trying to embed access to rigor curriculum into the classrooms. Another thing that we try to do is ensure that level 1 and 2 services are robust, and that differentiation is happening in the classrooms. Oh, that just to ensure that differentiation is happening. Another way we try to do this is by coaching individual teachers, which includes co-teaching and modeling critical and creative thinking lessons. Mhm. Another thing that I try to do is provide level 3 services to identified students, which includes pull out services for specific content areas for 3rd through 6th grade students. Mhm. I also try to support individual teachers and teams with planning and lesson delivery. And another large part of my job is working in partnership with classroom teachers to document exceptional student behaviors and exceptional work samples that can be used for level 4 school-based screening processes. I also try to work in partnership with our parent liaison to ensure outreach to families about AAP processes, opportunities, especially for our young scholars. I also try to provide opportunities to develop the talent of our young scholars, and young scholars are students with advanced academics potential from historically underrepresented populations in advanced academics programming. Thank you. That's it for me.
Thank you, Jackie.
All right, I am back again to talk about the School Innovation and Improvement Plan. So each year, stakeholders come together, teacher leaders, administration, coaches, community members, counselors, and specialists to create goals around student achievement, equity, and portrait of a graduate. To create goals around student achievement, equity, and portrait of a graduate. Our math and reading goals are generally measured by our SOL scores, and we create action steps to support those goals. This year, our focus is on small group instruction. Our small groups are driven by data. They're flexible, so students can move between groups, and they allow differentiation for all of our learners to provide opportunities for enrichment and also for intervention. How this looks in the virtual environment might be a breakout room with students and a teacher. And when we're back in face-to-face, in the face-to-face environment, this will look like several students around a table with a teacher. Our equity goal focuses on providing intervention and enrichment opportunities for our students, as well as our AAP Tier 1 resources for all of our learners. And our Portrait of a Graduate goal focuses on deepening our understanding of Portrait of a Graduate attributes and also using these intentionally in our planning for instruction. And so there's also a slide that shows where you can find our School Innovation and Improvement Plan. It's in the Herndon homepage. From the full menu, There's a drop down that says about. From there, you will find another drop down that says, oops, my screen is being locked. Thank you.
So we actually, I don't think need to spend too much time on this slide because we've mentioned a lot already about CLTs. Our CLTs are our collaborative learning teams, and that's the time that our teachers come together in grade level teams to discuss some planning. We look at assessments and data from those assessments to guide our instruction. And we have 2 CLTs a week. One is devoted to literacy, one is devoted to math. And really, it's just a time for teachers to get together and talk about their instructional practices and how we can help students make progress in the classroom. Oh, sorry, Carla, I forgot you. Man, Carla, that was good because I forgot you were there and I just kept going. So, Ms. Hopkins, did you want to add anything about that?
I don't think so. You pretty much covered it. I mean,
All right, we're good.
Coming together to work on either literacy or math, and it's a time where they can work with coaches and help to meet the needs of their students with instruction or small group planning.
Okay, thank you, ladies. That was super informative. We did have one question in the chat, and I think, Jackie, you were able to stick around. And maybe, I don't know if Elizabeth and Stephanie want to, and Marty Joe maybe want to weigh in this, but we were going to, there was a question in the chat on YouTube about how Jackie wears so many different hats. And, you know, when we're looking at the slides, there's 4 and 5 resource teachers and all of that. I guess the question is, would an additional AART at our school be helpful as well? I don't know if any of the admin or anybody wants to hop in.
So I'll start, and Jackie and Elizabeth and Marty Joe, if you wanted to join in too. We actually, because we're a Title I school, we were afforded to have Jackie full-time. So she used to be part-time, and then she was part of our triple T, meaning working with PE, music, art, and that schedule, working in STEAM. And we were able to get her full-time just for advanced academics, so that enrichment piece. And we do have all these resource teachers that support not just the intervention, but as mentioned earlier, enrichment. I would love to have multiple Jackies, as well as all of our staff. But in addition to that, we do have, we were able to hire a technology teacher, and we were able to hire somebody in STEAM that when we're back in school, we're able to use that makerspace. And Jackie kind of helped support that work as well. So that's just definitely something to keep in mind, though. Thank you for asking that question. And Elizabeth and Jackie or Marty Jo, if you wanted to say anything else.
Want to see if Carla can get all that in translation?
Good evening, everyone. I'm Elizabeth Baxter. I'm one of the other assistant principals here at Herndon. I'm so happy that you guys joined us this evening. I just wanted to add on to what Ms. Almquist already shared. Ms. Kwan is amazing, and we're always in awe of what she works on. One thing that she does is she does collaborate with our literacy and math teams around extension lessons and enrichment for all students in the school. So it's another way that she can support that rigor throughout the entire school, but also tie it in with this other content areas.
All right.
Elizabeth, could I add just a statement
there
to
you
that,
are.
if you don't
Okay.
mind?
Yes, please.
So I was just going to add on to what Ms. Almquist and Ms. Baxter said, but I also wanted to add on to the fact that there are so many things around the school that we are all just really working on collaboratively. And so when I think about, like, for instance, there's this one prong of my job, which is young scholar implementation. And I look around and I see the team of people who are around me that are working alongside me to like identify. We have the ESOL teachers, we have Sarah librarian. I feel like she is essentially an ART in so many roles. In fact, like one of the things that I've been doing is pushing into classrooms. So for this quarter, I pushed into 3rd through 6th quarter, but then I asked her, now that can you take over the K through 2 schedule, but can you do primarily critical and creative thinking? And so now she's doing her library lessons, but with that critical and creative thinking lens. So it's just so nice to be able to work alongside all of our teachers, the STEAM teacher, Mike McHenry, Mr. Mosley, Mr. Falke, of course, Ms. Bryant, to be able to work together to do the job that I'm doing right now. But all that to say is I would love another ART. So I'm just going to say that.
Carla, you're amazing. All right, I don't see any other questions. So at this point, we're going to move on to our next item in the agenda, which is a hello from Miss Marty Jo Jackson, our interim principal. So Marty Jo, if you want to turn on your camera, there she is. Hello.
Thank you. And thank you all for joining us this evening. I am serving as interim principal of your elementary school, now our elementary school. And it's a privilege to be here with primarily the staff now, although we do have some kids coming in a little bit here and there. And it's pure joy. I've been into a number of classrooms and I'm learning a great deal from everyone. And I'd like to echo, I noticed Martina Willis put in the chat some remarks that I won't try to capture as eloquently, but essentially what she said was what she hears this evening is so inspiring from this staff. I think that's an excellent word to put forth. The collaboration is like nothing I've ever seen before. I worked in the county for 31 years, 11 as a principal. And I've never seen or experienced collaboration like is occurring in your school, in our school. And I guess I will conclude with, I'd like to express publicly gratitude to Stephanie and Elizabeth. They have really honestly taken the lion's share of responsibility. And they've been patient teaching me and helping me understand Herndon Elementary School. They are remarkable leaders who are surrounded by a group of remarkable educators. So please allow me this moment to thank both Stephanie and Elizabeth for their support and leadership. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Ms. Jackson. All right, so next on our list, we have an Eagle Scout who is part of our school community. And so Nardine, I'll invite you to come on. He has a Eagle Scout project that he is hoping to complete on the trail back behind the soccer fields. So he's gonna just give us a quick overview of what that project would look like. Thanks, Nardine.
Hi, sorry. Hi, I'm Nardine, and this is my presentation about the Communal Forest Project. Hola, soy Nardine y esta es una presentación sobre el proyecto de bosque comunal. Lo siento, Carla. Entonces, what is an Eagle Scout? What is an Eagle Service Project? What does all these words mean? No, it was just for the one. So that's the extent of my Spanish. So you may be wondering, well, how does this project concern me? And what is an Eagle Scout? So the Eagle Scout is the highest rank in scouting, and in order to achieve that rank, I must complete an Eagle Scout service project, which is totally beneficial to the community and not to me or scouting in any way. And you are the community I want to give back to and serve. So this is why I'm telling y'all about this. You're the community I've chosen personally. I've grown up in this community and I hold it very dear to me. So a little bit about myself. I'm Nurdeen Abdul Rashid. I'm an up-and-coming Eagle Scout of Venturing Crew 114. Venturing is just another subsection of Scouting, and I will be working for you on behalf of the entire community. I'm 17, and as I've said before, this place is my home. I've been brought up through Herndon Elementary School, through middle school, and I'm now in my senior year of high school. And this project is just another way for me to give back to the community that gave me everything, that brought me up. So what is the project? So I'll tell you what the project is and a bit what it isn't. I am lighting the path behind the school. It's a black asphalt path, and there will be 25 posts in total, stringing the entire path. 12 of them will be used to light the path with solar-powered LEDs. The other 13 will be having plaques that serve as compact information outlets. Oh, Carla, translate. Okay, so there will be 13 posts made out of a weather-resistant wood with plaques on them that have information drawn out onto them that describe the wildlife around in the local environment. In addition to this, we as a group will get to decide a name for the forested area, or at least we'll put a sign there. That's the goal. There will be more details about that past later on, but that is something to look forward to. So here's a bit more of the vision, why I'm doing this, why do we want this? I want to promote a sustainable mindset and an active mindset for those who walk along this pathway. This pathway, this project is mainly aimed towards the youth of the elementary school. So collaboration with PTA just makes a lot of sense. And my dream is for that the path will one day be used for the elementary schoolers when they visit the field and be as like an alternative educational resource. It also will not just be for the youth, it has other people in mind. For the near passersby, it will provide the lights to keep them safe as they walk through the path. I remember when I would come back home from wrestling, I would have to walk through this path. Not saying that I was scared, but I could definitely see how other people would be scared of a very dark forest. So I think it would provide a good amount of safety and comfort having these little solar paneled lights lighting the way. And one day, this is more far future thinking, I'm hoping that this community project will inspire a domino effect and it would inspire others to make more community projects like it and to beautify our community, to really work together and unite as an overarching, kind of like a family. So where is the project now? And how do we make this dream into reality? So here are the steps we've taken so far. Step 0 is proposition, is giving the idea. Identification is identifying what we're going to do and identifying the wildlife and the local animals. Currently, we're on schematization. Essentially, what that is drawing up the blueprints, figure out where do things go, and where to dig, and what materials we would need. What will be next? Our next step is prototyping, which is testing out more tangible examples, say making a post and putting it in the ground, see how it is, to see if there's any faults in the planning. This way we can manage risk a lot better. How can I help? What can you do to help the project along, and what will this project ask of you? Well, there's a few ways to help. You could spread the word of this project. can give tax-deductible donations. You could volunteer for service hours or lend equipment, and you can help identify the wildlife. So how much would the donations need to cover? Current best estimate is around $875, which may change down the line depending on the availability of materials and how the contact suppliers and any possible discounts that we get. Any excess funds that gets raised stays with the PTA to improve the quality of your school. So it's still a win-win situation if you do donate. What kind of equipment would be used? We would need postal diggers, shovels, any kind of gravel packing tools, drills. These equipment would be lended to us if we so choose, but otherwise we will find ways to get equipment. It's not extremely necessary. And volunteering would also be available, and we can give service hours, especially to any scouts in the area. So how do I identify the wildlife? Well, there is an app called iNaturalist, and it's what I personally use. It is free, and it's made in part with National Geographic, and it helps to share and identify the plants and animals. To use it, simply you would just take a picture and it will do its best to help identify it. It will pull up a little wiki and you can read about it, and it will give suggestions on what is the actual species that whatever you're looking at, be it trees, plants, animals, berries, anything. If you choose to share the location publicly, it'll mark it for other people to see. So you can also collectively try and identify species when you enable the public accessibility. So this is also how I and the rest of us who are working on the project would be able to see and help, we'll be able to see what wildlife has been identified. The more plants and animals we have, the more diversity we can showcase about the ecosystem. And it's important to note that the identification on the iNaturalist app is not 100% and is susceptible to error. So it is up to people to correct it. Additionally, one last note about the iNaturalist. In order for it to be verified by an expert, enough people will have to try and ID the same plant or animal species. So if you want to fully make sure 100% it is that species and we're not spreading misinformation, we'll have to have a group effort. So lastly, you could spread the word. You could talk about this with your neighbors or spread it in the fellow community, anyone who might be interested in helping. And also staying in tune with the PTA communication channels, i.e. this live stream and meetings. And that will allow more opportunities to spread information about what's happening, the current status of the project, what we need help in, and that would speed up the process a lot more. Gracias por su atención. Feel free to ask any questions. Thank you for your attention. Thank you. Feel free to ask any questions. I'm sorry, switching languages messes me up. Feel free to ask any questions now, and any questions that not answered now could be emailed at this address, and we will answer them. Okay. Anything?
Thanks, Nardine. I don't see any questions coming in yet, but we will hang on to your email address so that anybody who comes up, who views the recording maybe can get in touch with you after the fact. But thanks for all the information.
Thank you for translating, Carla. I'll take my leave. Ciao.
All right, and finally, we have Ms. Tomo here to give us a quick update on our budget situation.
Okay. Great. Thank you so much, Sarah. Hi, everyone. I'm Tomoko, and I'm just here to briefly update you on our budget. So we'll just go ahead and get started. So I'm just going to start with running through the balance sheet very quickly. We've raised about $9,800 in income to date and expended roughly $10,600. We've raised about $9,800 in income, and we've spent about $10,600 to date.
And this gives us a shortfall of about $800. And I just want to point out that we expected the shortfall this year, so I don't want you to be alarmed that we're seeing a shortfall on paper here, virtual paper. So taking our surplus funds of $16,000 that we carried over from last year, plus our reserve funds of $20,000 into account, we end up with a balance of about $35,000. So moving over to our income sources, I'm just going to go ahead and give you the less than good news first, because I always like to know the bad news before I hear any good news. So overall, we're projecting a decrease of about 34% in our income this year compared to what we originally budgeted. So what does this mean in monetary terms? If you look at the bottom of this slide, you'll see that we budgeted to raise $24,000 this year. However, based on how our fundraisers have actually performed to date, we're forecasting that our income will be probably about $8,000 lower than that. So it'll be probably closer to $15,880. Now, it is possible that our forecast is wrong and that when schools open up in another month or so and the economy starts churning again, that we may make up ground that was lost in the fall with our fundraisers. And it's also possible that unicorns and mermaids may fall from the sky, dropping $8,000 into our laps. So, I'll let Carla, you can go ahead and translate that. So yes, anything is possible. However, realistically, we do feel that adjusting our expectations down on the income is at this point probably the most prudent thing to do. Now, it's not all gloom and doom here. We do have programs and fundraisers that have met what we've budgeted, or they are on track to achieving those budgeted numbers. And then there are programs, as you can see here, and fundraisers that are underperforming or that we don't expect to receive any monies from. And so our Town of Herndon grant is one example. So I'm not going to walk you through each one of these fundraisers and the performance to date, but I will point out that we have received, significant in-kind donations of books for our library from a few community sponsors. So moving on to expenses, given the situation with our income decreasing, we as a board have identified some areas where we can cut expenses so that we stay within what we budgeted this year in terms of how big a shortfall we want to carry. So again, looking at what this means in monetary terms, if you take a look at the bottom of this slide, you'll see that we budgeted to expend about $34,000 this year. And so now we're adjusting that down by about $8,000 to around $26,000 in expense. So this means that, we're considering eliminating fund from specific programs that we feel can be eliminated without great impact to our students and our school community. And so you can just see I've listed a few of those potential programs here, programs that may be cut, along with programs that will continue to fund. And again, if we do better than expected on our fundraisers in the spring, then we won't need to cut funding from some of these programs. But we, as a board, wanted to have some sort of a contingency plan in place should the downward trend in fundraiser participation continue for the rest of the school year. So we'll keep you updated at some subsequent meetings on just how we're doing against our budget. And we just want you to, have confidence knowing that we as a board, we are keeping an eye on the budget and doing our best to kind of mitigate the effects of fundraising in a virtual world. And so now I'll just open up the floor to any questions if anybody has anything that they would like to discuss. And I know that there's a time delay with YouTube Live, so just put up my contact information up here. So if anybody does have any specific questions, just let me know. You can reach out to me over email and I can get back to you.
Right, thank you, Tomo. I don't see any questions coming through yet, but we are all now watching for unicorns and mermaids. So
That's good. We need them.
and I will take this opportunity to remind everyone to go to funrun.com in order to register for our Boosterthon fundraiser that we're launching in the next couple of weeks. And hopefully we'll have some more YouTube videos for you on how to make that happen. And we have some, even though, you know, the money's not coming in, don't worry, we're going to find some ways to make sure fun things happen for the kids. All right. Well, we thank everyone for joining us for this meeting and apologize for the technical difficulties. But you know, if we don't try it, we're never going to make it work. So we'll see what happens for our next meeting, which will be in March, I believe. Maybe we can make things work. But thanks everyone for being here. Sorry, Carla. All right. So we'll sign off for now. Thanks, everyone.